How are you, internet? I've selected a paper here which has got spreadsheet and website authoring. It was done in October-November 2025. The code is 03 and the series was the code is 0417/03. I'm interested on the spreadsheet because it has got XLOOKUP, HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP formulas together with square roots. So I thought it could be important for those who are going to do Cambridge in the May-June to know how to use those functions. So if I scroll down here, the paper consists of 70 marks. The first section is that you have been supplied with the following files. These are the resource files which I believe I've downloaded. Here they are. And then the next thing, you work for Tawara Construction and you develop a spreadsheet to calculate the lengths and the cost of timber rafters used to build a roof. So this is how the roof looks like. There is the overhang and the timber is applied in standard lengths from 2.4 to 6 meters. So it's good to put this in mind. 2.4 to 6 meters. So they're saying you create a Word document which will be used for evidence document, and make sure that it has your name and candidate number to appear in every document. So that one, you just open Microsoft Word and then you go to insert, header, take these three, put your details that you'll be using in the exam. Let's say for example like that, the center number you're using, and then your candidate. So like that. And then what else? You have to save it in your work area. So you copy that followed by your center number and candidate number. So your work area is where the other source files are. So file, save as, and then make sure you go to this PC, downloads. I believe it is here where the files are. The name was supposed to be center number underscore and then your candidate number. Make sure it is a docs. Save it. You'll need this during the examination to place screenshots when required. So that one is done. What you do is just minimize it because you'll put evidence document. Task 2, spreadsheet. Open and examine the file n25 rafter.csv, comma separated value. So I'll go to the folder. I open Rafter. To examine it, I need to expand it so that I see it clearly. I click on top of number 1 here, double tap here. I can see the Rafter calculator. It has got all those stuff. And then what else? The cost of timber, size of timber. That is how to examine. You just check, try and understand the question. Save this spreadsheet with the file name followed by the center number and candidate number. So I copy that. Let's see. So I'll go to file, save as, save it here. So the name should be that, followed by the center number. Okay, is 048 underscore 011. Change it, instead of comma separated, let it be an Excel file. Save it. I've already saved it, it's up there. What is the next procedure? They are saying place the cells A25, the content of the file. So I need to place in cell E the content of this file. Do not change this data. So I need to extract this data and place it in A25 to A36. A25. I'm trying to note that one down to E36. So what I need to do here is to open the stock file, which is also, where is the stock? This one here. I copy from here, there the entire thing, copy. Once I copy, should I close it? And then I go to A22. They said A20 all the way to E36. I believe this is E36. Shift and then paste the content. So the content has come very nicely. This is the standard size. They told us the standard length is from 2.4 all the way to 6, if I'm not wrong, somewhere here, 2.4 to 6. Yes. And then do not change this data. Those are 2 marks. Very easy. Place a formula in cell B6 to convert the length of the overhang from millimeters to meters. Overhang. So when I come here, B6 is here. Length of the overhang, which is in meters here, should be converted into meters. So you simply take this, divide by 1000. So if you do that, you have converted it into meters. 1000 divided by 1000. Next question. Place a formula in cell B9 to calculate the length of rafter is in meters, where the length of rafter is. So you start the formula like this: length of overhang in meters plus the square root of the width of the roof in meters squared divided by 2 plus the height of the roof in meters squared. So this one, square root, you may use the square root function to calculate this. So a formula starts with an equal sign, length of the overhang. So that this is now B9. Length of the overhang is this one here. Length of the overhang, which is in meters. So what you do here, you start a formula and then you take length of the overhang in meters plus the square root. SQ, that is square root, double tap, it opens the bracket, and then you have to enclose all the rest of the formula that was supposed to be used on its own bracket. This first bracket is for the square root. So when I come here, width of the roof in meters divided by 2. Width of the roof, which is width of the roof, this one here, divide by 2, close the bracket, and then get the square root squared. So you put 2 there, and then plus the height of the roof, squared. So what I'll do there, height of the roof is this one here, so it was plus this one, is it in brackets, and then you close the bracket. Height of the roof, so I open the bracket here. Height of the roof is this one here, close the bracket, but it is squared, and then I need to close the bracket. Okay, so the square root bracket has been closed. What else? I think that's it. So this is how the formula looks like. So if I press enter, I'll have 3.37. The next thing, that was giving you 8 marks. A rafter is cut. From a standard size with the waist kept to minimum. So place a formula in cell B10, a formula to look up the minimum standard length needed to make the rafter. So what is my 3.3? Let me see, 3.3. 3.3, so they want it to be standard, so mine is not exact, so it should be the next one, which is 3.6. So I need to put a formula that will check the standard Rafter, so that if I use wood, which is, let's say for example 12 by 50, I should get a standard length of if I'm using 3.6, 14. Yeah, if I'm using 12 point something, it will give me 15. 175 by 50, it should give me that. That is to the nearest what I found here, 3.33 something. So what I need to do, the standard length, I'll use a formula called the XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP, so to look up for the standard minimum standard length needed to make the Rafter. So I'll put equal sign, then I go to XLOOKUP, double click on it, take this one here. So my lookup value is going to be the B9, the value that I found, and then the lookup array, I want it to check in this area here from A24 all the way down. So I need to select it nicely. Let me start again up to there. And the return array also, it should check the same position there. And I want if not found, it should find, if it does not find 3 point my lookup value, it should go to the next one. So the next match that should be found should be an exact match, which is 3.6, if it does not find 3.3. And then down here also, search mode, it should search from up going downwards, starting from up going downwards. So I'll give it an exact match, which will give me a results of 3.36. so if I click OK, I'll have 3.36. so that is how I've used the to look for the standard length of the wood to minimize wastage. Standard length need to make the Rafter and minimize wastage. That question was somewhere here, to be kept at a minimum. Standard size with waste kept at a minimum. So the formula gave me 3.6, and according to my question here, I'm seeing I got 3.6 and 3.3. So 3.3, if I reduce that number, it will be 3.7, but now the nearest was 3.6. so this is the standard that is needed, standard length that is needed. The next question, after using the XLOOKUP, place a formula in bit 11, a validation rule to restrict data entry only the sizes listed in row 21. Data must be selected from a drop-down list. Very important, drop-down list. So we need to put a validation rule to restrict data entry only to the sizes listed in row 25. Row 25 is this one here. These are the standard. So I need to put a validation rule here to restrict my choices in a drop-down list to this. So I'll go to data, then I look for validation rule, data validation, and then I want it to be a list, but this list I want it to be in a cell drop down. The source, they told me row 21, so only this part, and then I click OK. So you can see now it's restricted only to that. I can use this one as an example now. So I want to put a formula now. If I choose this timber here, which is in column 1, 2, 3, I should get 2. If I take this one here, so it will be column 2, CS timber treated. If it is this one, so I'll have to, these things are arranged horizontally, so I try to believe if I use HLOOKUP, then I come here, so my lookup value will be the timber I've selected, which is the second one, and then the table array that I'm using are these two areas here, and then the column index I'm using column, I've taken column 2 for instance, and I want an exact match. So an exact match here, should I give it that? So if I click OK, so if I take 5.150 times 50, I get 2. What about if I change this to 125? I get 1. And if I change this one to 200 and 200 by 50, I should get 4. So the HLOOKUP is working. If I take 175 by 50, I should get 3. Yes, but this formula I'm going to use it to find the exact standard length that is needed. For example, 175.50, yeah, 175.50 should give me, that is 3. So when I come here to my previous answer, which was 3.6 here, so 175 should give me 15.12 when I'm checking it vertically. This was horizontally. So this formula, let me change this one first of all. I want to try the second one. So the second one, this one here, according to 3.6, it should be 15.01. so I'll take this formula, I cut it because I want to use it somewhere. Now I want to use the VLOOKUP combined with the HLOOKUP to get the standard length that is required using the standard size here. So I'll start by saying VLOOKUP. I take this. Once I take this, I go back here. Now my lookup value, I'm going to use the standard length now, not the size of the timber. And then the table array that I want to use the entire thing here now. All this. I've taken the standard length plus the cost, because I want to check the cost using the standard length from the HLOOKUP. And then the column index. Now the column index that I'd selected 150 by, so if I paste this formula, because this one is for this column 2 here, but there is this standard, I need to count from the sizes. There are 2 rows before I reach the actual selection. Yeah, it's not okay. According to my HLOOKUP, there are 2 rows I've already used. I've used this one and I've used this one, but I did not factor in row 23. So I have to tell the machine +1, so that row is factored in also in the formula, because it will leave this one out, and then when I'm trying to check the cost, it won't match the 3.6 starting from here. So it's saying invalid. What about if I say +2? Then I come here, still invalid. HLOOKUP, how comes it's giving me HLOOKUP? So let's say, so I'll come here, I put +1, and then here I put 0. So if I click OK, there's a problem a bit, so I need to fix that problem. First of all, let us check the we check the HLOOKUP, how the HLOOKUP was working. So it was like this. I take HLOOKUP, which is this. Now the HLOOKUP value was this one here, and then the table array was this area here, and then the column index for my HLOOKUP, because I'd taken 150, that is column 2, and then the lookup range I wanted an exact match. So if I click OK, it gives me 2. So let me try again. So I think that is okay. So I was to take the all of this up to here and then cut it. After cutting it, let me use the VLOOKUP now. VLOOKUP. Then after VLOOKUP, the lookup value for our case is going to be this. The table array in our case here is going to be the all of this. The column index is what we had pasted. We had cut the HLOOKUP, but we put plus 1 because we have to factor in that row, this row which has got 23, which was not factored in before we start actual counting. And then I want an exact match. So an exact match, now if I click, it gives me for 150 by 50 timber, based on the standard length, which was 3.6 vertically, 3.6 here, I should get 15.15 because I'm in this column now. If I change here, let's say I take 20 by 50, which is column 1, 2, 3, 4, it should match this one, which is 15.41. So let me try take the last one. So it gives me 15.21. So that's how you calculate the cost of that. Place an evidence document showing the validation rule. I had not done this one here before. So in my evidence document here, I should ask myself, where is that question? This one, this was question 6. So in my evidence document here, I should prepare evidence 6. So this evidence 6, I need to come here and go to data. Validation rule was somewhere here. So validation rule is there. So this is what you're supposed to take the picture of this nicely, and then you place it on the evidence document. That is the validation rule. What else is crucial on this paper? Let us check using step 5 on the timber. So that one you have done. Size of the timber selected in B11. Yeah, that was giving us 9 marks. So this formula, if you look at it nicely, let me show the formula. Formula, show formula, and then double tap here. So this is a real nested formula where there is VLOOKUP and there is HLOOKUP. I said plus 1 here because I was trying to factor in this one here so that it is factored in. I think the plus 1, the 1 has come here, so it will consider this row. This row was supposed to be considered before the actual counting starts, so that when you count now, you start from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 3.6, so that you get the figures on this area for the standard length. I hope the formula is well understood, but you can watch again to understand the concept of using VLOOKUP. I'm not going to do the entire paper like this one, which I believe many students can be able to do. So they was trying to model this spreadsheet to find the cost of a rafter using 175 by 150. So if I come back here, I remove the formula. So instead of this, you come here, you take 175 by 50, it will give you that. It will give you a cost of 15.175. If you go to 3 point something, it will give you 15.21. So what is the question asking? A width of 3.5, the overhang, so width of meters, width of meters. Here you change this one to 3.5. What else is the question asking? A height of 1.75. Height of 1.75, and then lastly an overhang of 300 millimeters. Overhang of 300. So that one will give you, the cost will be 12.99. So here the standard length is going to be 3, and then you're going to have 12.99 because you are using 175 by 50. Correct, it works. So that is how you test your formulas, and then you're supposed to print. The next one was basically HTML. Thank you for watching.